My father-in-law is 71, and last spring he asked me one question that has stuck with me ever since. Why does every truck on the lot feel like climbing a ladder? He is not wrong. Most modern pickups are engineered for a 35-year-old contractor, not for knees that have already put in 7 decades of honest work. But there is a small group of trucks built for exactly the opposite kind of driver, with low step-in heights, light steering, seats you do not have to hoist yourself into, and the kind of visibility you would actually trust when pulling into a busy 4-way stop. After 22 years under the hood, I have watched these specific 7 vanish off lots faster than dealers can restock them, because the folks who know. Let me count them down. Number 7, the Ford Ranger. Let's start with the one most people overlook because they assume it is just a shrunken F-150. It isn't. The current Ranger is a mid-size truck that Ford clearly thought about for drivers who do not want to wrestle a vehicle into a parking space. Here's the part that matters for an older driver. The Ranger is one of the easiest trucks in Ford's lineup to get in and out of, and it can be optioned with power-adjustable seats and an available step assist that drops the threshold lower the moment you open the door. That single feature is the difference between sliding in and lifting yourself up. I had a customer last year, a retired electrician in his late 60s with a bad hip, who came in convinced he had to give up trucks entirely. I told him to test drive a Ranger with the step assist before he signed away his truck life. He came back grinning. He did not have to give up anything. What makes the Ranger genuinely senior-friendly is not just the climb-in. It is the safety net Ford built around it, blind spot monitoring, automatic emergency braking, and adaptive cruise control that does the stop-and-go work for you in traffic. Those are not gimmicks. When reaction time is not what it used to be, electronics that watch your blind spot and brake before you do are worth more than any chrome package. When you're shopping one used, do 3 things. First, sit in it before you fall in love with the photos online. Make sure the seat raises high enough that your hips are at least level with your knees when you exit, because that is the single biggest factor in how easy a truck is to climb out of. Second, test the step assist if it is equipped. It is a moving part, and a neglected one can stick. Third, check the tire wear. Uneven wear on the front tires means the alignment was ignored, and that is a cheap negotiation point. The Ranger lands at number 7 only because the trucks ahead of it are even kinder to an aging body. But if you want something that still feels like a real truck without punishing you to drive it, this is a smart, undervalued place to start. The next one, though, shrinks the whole experience down even further. Number 6, the Chevrolet Colorado. Here's a truck that does something most full-size pickups forgot how to do. It fits. The Colorado steps out of full-size territory and into the mid-size class, and that smaller footprint translates directly into something seniors feel every single day. Easier maneuvering, simpler parking, and a vehicle you can actually see the corners of. A lot of retirees walk on to a lot dead set on a Silverado because that's what they've always driven. I stop them right there. I ask one question: do you actually need to tow a fifth wheel? Or do you need to haul mulch, a generator, and the occasional load from the home improvement store? Because if it's the second one, the Colorado does all of that while being dramatically less intimidating to live with. And here's a detail: dealers won't volunteer. You don't have to climb the trim ladder to get 5 seats. Even the most accessible Colorado seats 5, which means you're not forced to spend thousands extra just to fit your grandkids. The front seats are genuinely comfortable and spacious. I will be straight with you. Taller passengers in the back row will find it tight, and the Colorado is not a fuel economy champion. That's the trade-off for the power it makes in a small package. One honest caution: the Colorado's long-term dependability hasn't historically been class-leading, so a used one lives or dies by how it was maintained. When you inspect one, Pull the maintenance records first, not the carpet, not the paint. A Colorado with documented on-time oil changes is a great buy. One with a mystery history is a gamble I would walk away from. Why does this one make the list at all? Because for a senior who wants a truck that's powerful enough to be useful, but small enough to never feel like a chore, the Colorado hits a sweet spot of size and price that the big boys can't touch. But if it's bulletproof reliability you're after, the next truck is in a different league entirely. Number 5, the Toyota Tacoma. If I had to bet my own money on a mid-sized truck still running strong long after I have retired, it's this one. The Tacoma has earned a reputation that borders on legendary, and for once the reputation is fully deserved. Let me give you the number that should end the argument. According to long-term ownership data from CarEdge, a Tacoma costs owners roughly $6,931 in maintenance over a decade. That is a net savings of about $2,694 compared to the typical pickup. Read that again. You are not just buying a truck, you're buying one of the cheapest trucks on the road to actually keep alive. For someone on a fixed retirement income, that is not a bragging point. It is a budget you can plan your life around. It backs that up where it counts. The 2026 Tacoma still returns around 23 miles per gallon combined. Not the best here, but well ahead of most trucks. And it has earned the IIHS Top Safety Pick designation in 2019, 2024, and 2025. Safety and reliability in the same package with a resale value so strong that a well-kept Tacoma barely depreciates. I had a customer, a widow in her early 70s, who told me her late husband always handled the cars, and she was terrified of buying the wrong thing alone. I told her to buy a clean used Tacoma and not look back. 2 years later, she stopped by just to tell me it had cost her exactly nothing beyond oil changes and a set of wipers. That's the Tacoma. A buying note specific to older drivers. The newest generation rides a touch firmer than some folks expect, so test drive over rough pavement before you commit. And if your back is sensitive, spend the extra for a trim with the better seats. And because Tacomas hold value so well, don't expect a bargain basement price, but understand you're paying for a truck that will likely outlast the loan, the dog, and possibly the driveway. The Tacoma is the reliability king of this list, but it isn't the easiest to climb into, which is exactly why the next 4 climb higher. Number 4, the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Now we start getting into the trucks that barely feel like trucks at all, and that's the whole point. The Santa Cruz is the one that turns heads because from the front it looks like a sleek modern SUV. Then you notice the bed in the back and do a double take. Hyundai calls it a sport adventure vehicle, and honestly, nothing else on the road looks or drives quite like it. For a senior, the magic here is the ride. The Santa Cruz gives you the quiet, composed, car-like manners of an SUV with the genuine utility of a pickup bed, tie-down points, integrated storage, the works. You get to haul the mulch and the kayak and the donation run to Goodwill, but you're sitting in something that drives like a crossover, not a work truck. No harsh truck bounce, no wandering steering, no climbing. I recommend this one constantly to people downsizing from a big truck who still can't quite let go of having a bed. A gentleman came in last year, retired, sheepish about it. He said his wife told him he was too old for a pickup and made him buy an SUV, and he hated it. I showed him the Santa Cruz. He got the bed back, she got the comfortable SUV ride she wanted, and they both stopped arguing about it. Marriage counseling by Hyundai. When you inspect a used one, focus on the dual clutch transmission on the turbo models. Make sure the shifts are smooth and there is no hesitation or shudder from a stop, because a rough one is a known sore spot. Stick to a well-maintained example and confirm any recalls have been handled. The cabin technology is excellent, and the screens are large and legible, which matters more than people admit when your eyes are not what they were. The Santa Cruz proves a truck can be easy and stylish at the same time. But the next one solves the single hardest problem for an older body, actually getting in a way nobody else on this list can match. Number 3, the Ram 1500. Stay with me here, because I know what you're thinking. A full-size truck at number 3 on a list for seniors? Yes, and it's because of one feature that genuinely changes the game. The Ram 1500 can be equipped with an active level 4-corner air suspension system, and that system has a setting called entry-exit mode. When you park and shut it down, the truck physically lowers itself to make getting in and out easier. Let that sink in. The number one complaint older drivers have about full-size trucks, the climb, is solved by a truck that kneels down to meet you, then raises back up to a commanding, confidence-inspiring ride height when you're driving. It's the same idea luxury SUVs charge a fortune for in a pickup. On top of that, the Ram has long been praised for two things seniors care about more than horsepower: outward visibility and ride comfort. The seats are supportive, the sight lines are excellent, and the air-suspended ride soaks up rough pavement in a way that's gentle on a tired back. One of my customers, a former long-haul driver in his 60s, told me his Ram was the first vehicle in years that didn't leave his lower back aching after a long drive. Now the honest part, because I won't sell you a fairy tale. The Ram's long-term reliability record is more mixed than the Toyotas on this list. And that AIR suspension, wonderful as it is a complex system that can need attention as it ages. So if you go this route, 2 rules. First, the air suspension is only on select crew cab trims like the Laramie, Limited, Longhorn, and Rebel. So confirm the truck actually has it before you buy. Second, on a used one, have a mechanic inspect every corner of that air system and check for any sag or warning lights. A healthy one is a dream. A neglected one is a repair bill. The Ram earns its spot because nothing else removes the climb like it does. But the next 2 trucks do not need any fancy system to be easy. They were just born low and friendly. And the people who discover them almost never go back. Number 2, the Ford Maverick. This is the truck I recommend more than almost any other to seniors who tell me they are done with big pickups, and it wins them over the second they drive it. The Maverick is a compact truck that drives like a car, and I mean that literally, at just under 200 inches long with a tight 40-foot turning circle. It handles more like a large SUV than a pickup. It parks in a normal garage. It slips into spots that would require a full F-150 owner to make a 3-point turn. You are not piloting a yacht. Here is what makes it perfect for an aging driver. The cabin height is friendly to knees and hips. No climb, no boost. Just slide in and sit down, almost like a sedan. Visibility is excellent. The controls are straightforward and uncluttered, which matters enormously when you do not want to fight a confusing touchscreen. And on the Lariat trim, you get an 8-way power driver's seat with power lumbar, so you can dial in exactly the position your back wants. Then there's the money, and this is where it gets ridiculous. The Maverick's standard hybrid powertrain returns an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon in the city, and around 38 miles per gallon combined, making it the most fuel-efficient pickup in America. For a retiree watching every dollar at the pump, a truck that sips fuel like a compact car while still hauling mulch, groceries, and golf gear in a real bed is almost too good to be true. It will go over 500 miles on a tank. I had a couple come in, both in their late 60s, looking at a big used pickup because they had a small camper and a garden habit. I pointed them at a Maverick hybrid instead. They tow the little camper with the EcoBoost version, haul everything for the garden in the bed, and spend a fraction of what they expected on gas. The wife told me it was the first truck she had ever felt comfortable driving herself. Inspection tips. The Maverick is so popular, it holds its value hard, so do not expect a steal. And on a used hybrid, confirm the battery system is healthy and all recalls are addressed, since these trucks have been refined year over year. The multi-position tailgate and flex bed system are genuinely useful, so make sure the bed and tailgate latches all work. The Maverick is the easiest small truck to live with, period. But there is one truck that takes everything good about it, the car-like drive, the comfort, the ease, and wraps it in proven Honda reliability with a real V6. That's my number one. Number one, the Honda Ridgeline. If a senior asks me for one truck, just one, that's easy to drive, easy to live with, and built to last, this is the answer every single time. And almost everyone pushes back at first because they think a real truck has to ride rough and feel like a tractor. Then they drive a Ridgeline, and the argument ends. Here's the secret that explains everything. Unlike nearly every other pickup, the Ridgeline isn't built on a traditional body-on-frame truck chassis. It rides on a unibody platform shared with Honda's SUVs, the same engineering philosophy as a comfortable crossover. Honda built it that way on purpose, and the result is a truck that, in the words of reviewers and every owner I've ever talked to, never actually drives like a truck. It shrinks down around you into something easy and maneuverable. The steering is light and accurate. The ride is plush and quiet, with remarkably low wind and road noise on the highway. For an older driver, that means less fatigue, less stress, and a vehicle you trust instinctively. It's lower than most trucks too. Ground clearance sits around 7.6 to 7.9 inches, which sounds modest, but for a senior, that translates to a step-in height that's far kinder to hips and knees than a lifted full-size pickup. You don't climb into a Ridgeline, you get into it. Now the engine, because this is where the buy it and forget it reliability comes in. Under the hood is Honda's 3.5-liter V6, making 280 horsepower. It is naturally aspirated. No turbo to fail. It uses a timing chain, not a belt, so there is no expensive scheduled belt replacement waiting to ambush you. This is the same family of bulletproof Honda 6 engineering that has powered their SUVs for years, and I've seen these things rack up enormous mileage on nothing but routine maintenance. For a retiree who wants predictable, low costs, and zero drama, that is exactly the recipe. And Honda packed it with thoughtful touches that seem almost designed for an older owner's daily life. The dual-action tailgate swings open sideways as well as dropping down, so you do not have to lean over a folded gate to reach your cargo. There is a lockable, weatherproof in-bed trunk hidden under the bed floor, perfect for groceries, tools, or anything you do not want sliding around or sitting in the rain. The cabin is genuinely SUV spacious, with over 40 inches of front legroom, a flat floor, and wide rear doors that make loading grandkids or car seats easy. Let me tell you about the customer who finally sold me on recommending this as my number one. A retired school teacher, 68, came in after her old SUV died. She needed something to haul supplies for the community garden she ran, but she was nervous about driving anything truck-sized. I told her to just sit in a Ridgeline and take it around the block. She came back 20 minutes later and said that it was not a truck, that it was a comfortable car with a bed. She has owned it 3 years now. Total spent beyond oil changes and tires? Almost nothing. Her exact words last time she stopped by were, "Why does nobody tell people about this truck? That is the whole problem. Nobody talks about it." So here's your buying checklist. First, the in-bed trunk has a drain plug. Pull it and make sure it is not clogged and that the bed is not holding water, which signals neglect. Second, listen to the V6 on a cold start. It should be smooth and quiet, with no rattle. Third, the dated but durable infotainment on some model years can lag, so make sure every button and the backup camera work, because that camera is your friend. Fourth, my pro tip on any truck for a senior: find one previously owned by another older couple. They garage them, baby them, and do every service on time. A gently used Ridgeline from an empty nester is as close to a new truck as you will find. If I had to hand the keys of one truck to someone I loved who was getting older and wanted to keep their independence, their bed, and their dignity, I would hand them a Ridgeline and not think twice. So there it is. 7 trucks built for drivers the rest of the industry forgot. The Ford Ranger with its step assist and safety net, the right-size Chevy Colorado, the unkillable Toyota Tacoma, the stylish car-smooth Hyundai Santa Cruz, the Ram 1500 that literally kneels down to let you in, the fuel-sipping, easy as a sedan Ford Maverick, and the Honda Ridgeline, the best-kept secret in the entire truck world for anyone who wants a pickup that treats their body with respect. Next time a salesman tries to steer you towards something you have to climb a ladder to enter, you'll know better. You'll know there are trucks out there that were built for exactly where you are in life, and they're disappearing off lots fast because the smart buyers already figured this out. If this helped, you know what to do. Drive safe, take care of yourself, and let the right truck take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.